I'm here with Renee Hartle, athletic director and head softball coach at Luther College. Renee, tell me your story. What brought you to Wartburg as a student athlete, and what has kept you around Luther for as long as you have been there?
What took me to Wartburg? I would say if I went back, both of my parents were Wartburg grads. So when I was a junior in high school, it was the only school I wasn't going to go to. So that's how I started my Wartburg journey. I looked at Central and Buena Vista, and then I looked at Wartburg. And the reason why I looked at Wartburg was because of a coach. And so I went to Wartburg because of my coach that recruited me. Ended up loving it there. Met my best friends that I still get together. We still have Wartburg girls weekends. But my experience at Wartburg definitely, and my experience with my coaches there, definitely, I would say, made me want to do this. And so I was all set to go to psychiatry school at the University of Iowa. I had a TA and everything coming out of undergrad, and I got a call from the athletic director at the time, Gary Grace at Wartburg College, that said, "Hey, there's this position up at Mankato State and Gustavus that I think you should look at." And so I went 2 feet in and went and took that GA up at Gustavus for 2 years, and definitely knew that this was my path. And so haven't really looked back since. But in terms of, my connection with the conference and my journey, my brother-in-law was a Wartburg wrestler, All-American. My sister worked at Buena Vista. I grew up 45 minutes from Buena Vista too, but my brother Heath ran track at Wartburg. My brother Brant played football here at Luther. And so it's just been a really high connectivity for us, even at, family gatherings. And I get to see all these people over the holidays, and we talk Iowa Conference. Like, we talk about the American Rivers Conference schools, right, when we get together. So
Very cool. And what has kept you around Luther for as long as you've been there?
I would definitely say it is, I feel very blessed that I get paid to do what I love. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy. However, I definitely think it's the truth in my case. I do think that this job is stressful. I think it's high demand. However, if you love the work, you love the process, you love the people, you enjoy the things like having a, American Rivers Conference AD meeting every 9 o'clock, at 9 o'clock every Tuesday. If you enjoy that, then this is meant to be, right? I have loved coaching softball for as long as I have. I've served 3 different presidents here at Luther, and all 3 of them have said, "Are you ready? Are you ready to be done coaching and just focus on your administrative work?" And I'm not done. I still enjoy that work and the daily grind with the students, and I love recruiting still. And I think that as long as all of that continues to be fun and a passion for me, I do think it makes me a better administrator, to be in the trenches with those that I serve. So I really wouldn't see it any other way at this time.
Awesome. What has been your favorite memory as a member of the conference, whether it be a student athlete or administrator, coach, or if you have more than one?
Favorite memory. I have a lot. I have a lot. That's tough. I would say, as a student athlete, my most vivid memory, that I'll never forget was junior year. We're playing in Old Knights gym. We're playing the conference tournament against Central. And I think we were in game 2 or 3, and it was, early November, and we were in an ice storm, and the lights went out in the gym in the middle of the championship match. And they were out for a while. And I just remember sitting in that gym with all of these people and in the dark, and it ended up being like pretty cool of an environment that when the lights came on, I don't remember where the Wartburg football team was playing that day, but they came back on their road trip right when the lights came on. And I remember the electricity of that old gym And Central, I think ended up, I don't know if they won. I think they won the national title that year. They had Abby Brown and Candace Wilson, and we lost in 5 games that year in that match. But I just remember that night being one of my most vivid memories of playing college volleyball or softball. And gosh, I have so many great memories at Luther, not just coaching teams, but also as an administrator and being an athletic director. I have so many that I don't even think it would be fair to say one. Like, do I say it's fair of taking a softball team to Oklahoma City? I just don't even know if there's anything that would compare with that from a coach level, to do the things that we get at Division III that I don't think a lot of student athletes coming out of high school realize how special that Division III experience could be, and how elevated it is when you make it at that level. That, we had a private jet out of La Crosse, Wisconsin to go to Oklahoma City, right? I mean, and we had people carrying our bags, and all of the students were like, what is going on, right? Like, that is just it's elevated. And I don't even remember any scores when I played. I didn't have necessarily an experience like that, but I'm going to guess that most of my student athletes remember the people, remember the experiences, and not necessarily the score. So I just feel like any memory that I have that is my best memory is one of those moments where the end of the game isn't necessarily what they're going to remember, right? It's going to be the process to get there. It's going to be the experience of it all. And it's going to be the people that they still have in their lives, and whether that, I hope it's me. Like, I love, talking to, I just even wrote your Christmas card here, Hannah. It's on my desk right now. So like whether it's that, or whether it's, you getting together with your teammates, and having babies and some of the things that I get to experience. Those are my best memories.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add to celebrate the 100-year anniversary of the conference?
The only thing that I would add, that when you even emailed me these questions, I was thinking about, like, Dan and Chuck would probably really appreciate me mentioning when Nebraska Wesleyan wanted to join, and they were going to be out of state, right? And we were going to talk about renaming the Iowa Conference, right? And I was really a pushback on that. Like, the Iowa Conference was a brand. It was a brand. And that's what we're celebrating, is 100 years of the Iowa Conference / now American Rivers Conference. And I really thought for the longest time that changing the league name would change the league. And it was really not forward thinking of me, but also not giving credit enough to my peers in the league, the coaches that make up this league, the student athletes that make up this league, the alums. We're talking about 100 years of alums at this point, right? And we're talking about the administrators, with you and Dan and Allie and Chuck at the time, that we were changing the league name. And the American Rivers Conference is the same. It's a different name, but the brand is still there. The people are what make the brand. And I know that more now than I ever have. And that's how I feel about Luther College. It's the people that make up the brand. And whether you have, a ship, or whether you have a Norse head, it's the people that make up that brand. And it's just a name, or it's just a logo. And I guess I didn't know that earlier in my career. And that's the story I guess I would have to share at this point about the 100 years. Is it's pretty cool. When I was in the Texas airport a couple weeks ago, and someone saw my Norse head and came right up to me and said, "How is the Iowa Conference?" And I said, "Oh, it's the American Rivers Conference." And he looked at me and he was like, "Oh yeah, they changed their name." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, still, it's the same schools." And I said, "Yes, it is." And he goes, "Well, how's it going?" But it's just so neat that our brand too does scream, that really, really good Division III private, conference in Iowa and Nebraska. And, I know that we're discussing whether or not we would add members down the road. I think that's exciting now, where before I wanted it to just be these Iowa schools, right? And so I just feel like our recruitment efforts in the states of Wisconsin and Minnesota and Illinois definitely still going to be the same great league. And adding members is only going to add to that experience if we ever get down to that situation.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your commitment to the league all of these years and enjoy your holidays.
Thank you, Hannah.
Bye.